Shit's ridiculous.
Heart and soul of the bay, that's me. That's us, that's my team. We gon' do it for the bay though. Forever we faithful. Forever we faithful.
Not again.
Forever we faithful.
Forever we faithful. Niner my gang, whoa, that back came real fast. I feel like Usain Bolt. These teams not like us, they not in the same boat. We get all the big things, we got all the big rings. I read it and go. We ball never fold, grind stay in that mold. Another ring is the goal. All we do is win, 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 no matter what. It's a scary sight, a Niner jersey and a cut. Faithful to the bank, gang, yeah we up, living plush. Soon as you look up, another touch. Damn, it ain't next year, it's over here now. Crowd full of red, white, and gold, screaming loud. Let's get it in, let's get it in. Niner gang, another win. Let's get it in, let's get it in. Niner gang, another win.
Welcome everybody to a brand new episode of Fair Faithful Podcast. I'm Brian Free, and joined by me is Beto from Niner Sickness. How we doing, man?
Doing good, bro. Thank you for having me on. Talk some 49er football, talk about the Niners draft, what they did well and what they did not based on the consensus of the 49er faithful.
Yes, sir. A lot of people have been talking since the draft. People saying they did a lot of reaches with these players that they drafted. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people are just frustrated with Kyle and John. But let's get right into it, man. We'll give our thoughts about the draft. We could go over each draft pick, player by player, and give our thoughts on that, and then go from there. And then Deon should be joining us shortly. He's running late from work, so just a heads up for people out there. But yeah, let's get right into it. So let's see. First day of the draft, the Niners go ahead and trade back from 27 and get pick 33. And sure enough, they draft a wide receiver. What are your thoughts, man? What was your thought process when they did this, and how'd you feel about getting this receiver, Sterling?
Well, did it surprise me? Absolutely. Was I expecting this receiver at 33? Nah. Was I looking at some other players? Like everyone else, bro, I was looking at certain players that I covet, that I liked. And I did my scouting on, and when the Niners didn't take that particular player, I was like, okay, that sucks. But let's dig into who they did take. Let's find out who this receiver is about. I watched a little bit of him in college, but I didn't take a deep dive. And I started to watch some of his Ole Miss tape, and I was like, I don't like his separation. He has good hands, big body. But then I started looking at his what is it, Oklahoma State that he went to? And he was required to do much more there than he was in the system of Ole Miss. So I started to do a deep dive there, and I found out that this kid, whether he's worthy of that spot or not, is a damn good prospect. He's a good receiver. I can see how John and Kyle fell in love with him. I can see why they took him. And then for what I heard also real quick, Brandon, is I know a lot of the consensus say that we should have waited for the third round or for the later of the second round. But for what I've been hearing, the chatter from not the consensus of the media of X or Facebook, but from the 31 team, that he was moving up the boards. Some teams had him up high. And we'll never know if it's true or not because teams do not disclose what they have on their board. So we'll never know. At this point, it's irrelevant if he was taken too soon or not. It's about now, can this kid be special for this team? And that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, and there people are saying, like, just in the past couple of days, that Stribling is drawing comparison to Chris Godwin. And it says right here that Mike Evans might look across the formation and see a player who reminds him of an old running mate in Tampa Bay, Chris Godwin, San Francisco's second round receiver, Stribling compared favorably to Godwin when he was coming out of Penn State. From weight to 207 to 209 to 40 time of 436 to 442. Vertical jump is identical to 36 inches, and broad jump is 10 feet 7 to 10.6. And they're just saying pretty won't complain about that pairing with Stribling's ability to separate over the middle as a nice complement to Evans' vertical threat. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm not really a big, huge fan of comparisons. I like that he offers some of that coming out of college like he did, but I want to see what this kid can do in Kyle Shanahan's system. I want to see what this kid can do in this complex system that Kyle runs. Can he adapt quickly? How fast is it going to take him to learn? Is he going to put his ears back and soak everything in? And what kind of production are we going to get from him year one? What does Kyle expect from this kid? How is Kyle going to utilize him in this offense? We did bring in Mike Evans. We brought in what's in that receiver from Chris. What is his name? Kristen Kirk. Thank you. And we still have Ricky Purcell that I'm hoping that he's going to have a breakout year. I think this is going to be a year that he's going to stay healthy. At least that's what I'm hoping for. And I think this kid's going to take off. But I'm curious to see how Kyle's going to use this kid that we drafted at 33. How much are we going to use him? And hopefully we'll get some good things from him. You know, I'm not a big fan of where we draft. I don't believe in reaching. Some people do. Where there are better prospects at different positions that people feel they should have been taken. But they're basing this on what? Are they basing this on their personal thought process? Because listen, the kid from Toledo, the safety Warren, was projected to go in the late first round. He didn't go into the late second round. How is a kid that they were projecting to go in the first round make it all the way to almost the end of the second round? So that just tells you, I don't care who you are, Daniel Jeremiah or anybody else, they're just basing their predictions on the board, how they see it. But teams see it different, bro. Have the Niners messed things up in the past? Have they screwed the pooch, for say, in the past? Yes. But we have our Kittles. We have our Brock Purdy's. We have our Fred Warners. We have our Drake Greenlaws. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We have good players. I don't know about you, bro, but to me, the draft is a 50-50 crapshoot. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you don't. So hopefully this kid will come in and be a very good player for us. And then you'll hear the same people saying, oh, yeah, I believe in him all. I liked him. I just didn't like him at 33, but I know he was going to play good. And if he doesn't play good, they're going to say, I was right. The Niners should have never taken him. So it is what it is, bro.
Yeah, I agree, man. You know, a lot of the media also have said, you know, like this kid looks really good, and they're expecting to see a lot of you know, good things coming from him, coming to this season with the Niners. And I wanted to play this video real quick of Greg Cosell.
I saw that. I liked it.
Yeah, he was on Willard and Dibs today on 95.7 The Game, and basically explained his take on Stribling. So let's go ahead and take a look at it real quick.
All right.
Give me a second.
No problem. It was funny because they were using sarcasm, and he was so upset that he didn't even see the sarcasm in it when they were saying about it, and he was so impotent of what he wanted to say. So yeah, let's watch.
Yep.
You got a text from our producers because we were on the air when Stribling got picked by the Niners. Your quick response was loved his tape. I'd love to hear more. What do you think of Deon Stribling?
Well, I watched his 2025 tape, and the first thing that stood out, you're dealing with a guy that has an outstanding size-speed profile. He has vertical explosiveness. He's big. He's 6'2" and an eighth. He's 207. And I loved what I saw in that regard. But what I didn't see on his 2025 tape was I didn't see him working between the numbers a lot. So I said to myself, you know what? He transferred from Oklahoma State. So I said to myself, I'm going to go back and look at all his pass targets from 2024 when he was at Oklahoma State. And you know what? He worked the middle of the field at Oklahoma State really effectively. So when I was all done watching probably, I don't know, 100 and whatever the number of targets, maybe 200 plus, I came away really liking what I saw. I thought that he looked quick. He looked refined as a route runner. I think he can really develop into more than a vertical dimension. He's absolutely a vertical dimension because he can run by people. So I really, really like Stribling. And just so you know, and people listening, just so they know, I spoke to an offensive coach who's been in this league for 35 years who liked Stribling more than Mekhi Lemon. So all this consensus talk, that means absolutely nothing to anybody that has a brain.
Come on now, Cosell. Preach it.
All right. Thoughts?
Well,
How are we feeling?
He made a valid point. And, to say that it's better than Lemon, going to be better, that's crazy to hear. But these guys, they know football. They know how to read tapes, and they don't feed off these consensus. They don't feed off the media. They don't feed off all people trying to, get people to subscribe to their channels, and they're going to say what the fans want to hear. Not necessarily. Some of these guys say things they don't even believe what they're saying, but they'll say it because they want to get subscriptions. They want to get people to follow. So they're going based on what the fans are wanting to hear. And when you tell the truth, they don't want people. The truth has always been boring. How do we know the truth is always boring? But lies are always intriguing, right? So we don't know what this kid's going to be until he goes out there and showcases what he's about. But I don't know about being better than Lemon. Maybe he is. Maybe he'll be just as good. But I like the traits of this kid. This kid's tall enough. This kid's big enough. What I love about him, he's physical. I was watching somebody who was showing tape on him, and he reminds me so much of George Kittle when it comes to the blocking. He pancakes people. He pushes people out of bounds. He runs over people. From that perspective of blocking, now we got Kittle and this kid. Guess what? McCaffrey's going to get some runs this year. What's up, media?
What's up, media? All right, let's get your take real quick, man, on Stribling. How you feeling, man?
Yeah, I mean, originally I was probably like most of us, I was just very shocked, but I also kind of was prepared. I felt to be shocked because that's what the Niners always do. That's why I don't even do really these mock drafts much, or really, try to watch too much of these guys until we kind of draft these guys. Because I'm then I'm just going to be disappointed even more that, oh, shoot, the Niners didn't get who I wanted. So it's I don't think there's point to do that. But when it comes to Stribling, I see exactly why the Niners got him. And that's because what you guys just said, his blocking ability. And we know no block, no rock. And that's his best way to get on the field is if he shows that he's able to block, he'll get some playing time. And what I love about him is because I think the Niners, in the offseason, they're we need to get faster. Well, obviously, signing Mike Evans didn't really do that. And then what's the other receiver that we signed? Christian Kirk, right? I mean, he's shifty. He has a little bit of speed. I mean, obviously you have Cowing, but he hasn't done anything. So it's with Stribling, I see that where he has the yak ability, he has the blocking ability, and he has that speed, which I feel is kind of rare for his size to have that speed. So, I mean, the more that I watched his film after the draft, actually, the more I feel I like him. And I get why the Niners, ended up.
I also think I also think that he's going to be better too for us in the end zone as well, because of his height too.
Yeah.
I think what the main thing is I feel like we like the pick. We just don't like where it got picked.
Yeah.
Right.
And honestly, I never understood that. Either you like the player or you don't, or the player does well for you or he doesn't. Because let's be honest, Joe Montana was taken in the third round when he was drafted. If Joe Montana would have been taken back then in the first round, people would have been like, what? You're reaching. Niners are reaching for this quarterback from Notre Dame. And what did he turn out to be? A freaking Hall of Fame, arguably better than Tom Brady quarterback at least in the Niner world, right? But back then, he would have been considered a reach. So to me is what can you do once you're drafted and what you're going to do on the field. Once you're drafted, you're drafted. It doesn't matter where you get. If this kid takes off and if this kid plays well and becomes a hell of a player, does anybody going to care in the future that we took him at 33 or we took him at 90? Let's be honest. No. We're just going to be happy with his production. So it is what it is. People can sit there and say that we reached. That's their opinion. Some of us say we didn't reach. At the end of the day, nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's about what can this kid do now that he's been drafted. Can he take advantage of this system and become great? Because if he does, everybody's going to be in love and they don't care. If he doesn't, people are going to say, I told you they reached. So it's really up to him.
Yeah. I also just think if you think about the Niners' philosophy for the past few years, I feel like they're trying to go after guys that they feel like fit better because they're hoping that these guys can actually help them out. Because we've seen them try to go with guys like the upset, and I get it. It was with the whole Trey Lance thing, but it hasn't worked out. And so I think the Niners are kind of changing that philosophy. So then I think that's where people are like, oh, that's a reach. But then if you actually, think about what the Niners are trying to do, draft kind of their strategy, I think it makes a lot of sense. And at the end of the day, we could say it's a reach, but every pick's, a bargain. So
if they work out, they're a bargain. If they don't, they're a miss. The thing is, the kid has to come in and prove that he's worthy of the pick, no matter where he's taken. I've seen some Hall of Fame undrafted players that went to the Hall of Fame. They were never drafted. And if God forbid they would have been drafted in the third round, people would have died for that. But yet they went into the Hall of Fame. So it is what it is, whether people agree with it or not. Right. With the pick, it doesn't really matter at this point. We are just fans. We're not Kyle. We're not John. We can disagree with them all we want. But at the end of the day, guess who makes those decisions? They do.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree. I think it's the main, like I said, the main issue is I think it's just where they're picking these guys. I think another issue is as well is how old these guys are that they're drafting too, right? Like that's like another issue. We're already old as it is. By the time their rookie deal is done, they're going to be 30 already. So
well, that's why I was saying, Brandon, I think that's what the Niners are trying to do is because they feel maturity. Like, okay, we need guys to step up.
I totally get it. I totally get it.
They don't need no more.
We don't have to
Brandon
develop them as much.
They don't want no more Brandon Ayuk's where you can get a good player who has talent, but then goes AWOL on you. I think the Niners are looking more for character. I think they're looking more for character over talent. They want talent, but I think to them, character's their number one concern because you can get someone like Brandon Ayuk with talent, and then you pay him, and then he goes AWOL.
You see what happens,
exactly.
That's a really good point because if you look at what the Niners did, right? They get Reuben Foster in 2017. Oh, he has these off the field issues. Niners go away from it. Brandon Ayuk, now they see, okay, shoot. They're kind of going away for us. I thought that's a really good point, Beto.
I get it.
Yeah, they're just, character is everything. I know talent as well. You can teach people sometimes what to do and not what to do on the field. But when you have a characteristic issue, it's harder to teach or remove.
Exactly.
And if you look at all these kids that the Niners drafted, what is one of the things that it's altogether is their characteristics. Whether you like the position or not, whether you think they were taken too high or not, Niners are looking at character because they can develop the talent or bring it out of these kids, but they don't want another Brandon Ayuk or Reuben Foster, like you said. They brought Reuben Foster, but he had the outside problems. What is it called? Aldon Smith, if we remember Aldon Smith, even though it wasn't this regime, but still, he was a great player, great talent. But his issues off the field got him in trouble. And we don't need that because how many players that have a lot of talent are not playing because of their characteristics? So the Niners are working on that. What is it? What did it say? This question is for media.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I would have loved it, but it is what it is. And now I guess I'll be watching Las Vegas Raiders because they also got Dalton Johnson from Arizona too. Yeah, he was a safety going in the second round from Arizona.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next player that the Niners drafted. So we waited about 50 more picks, and it came down to round 3, pick 70. The Niners select Texas Tech player Emilio Height, defensive end. I really like this pick actually. That means we're gonna get that help on the other side for Nick Bosa. Looking at his tape, he looks really good. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the table, and
he's different, bro. He's not your prototype. This player and the kid Jaden Duggar. Remember this? That kid, that linebacker that we drafted.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to play linebacker, bro. He's going to play. If he does play, he's going to play outside linebacker where he's going to go after the quarterback. The guy is 6'5", 240 pounds. I can see this has. I can't think of his name. Help me out, guys. Our defensive coordinator slipped my mind.
Raheem Morris.
Raheem Morris, a name all over it. If you look at what the Falcons did last year, they took 2 cats. Walker and Pierce, both that type of body type. We're so used to the big guys, right? We're used to the Bosas. We're used to the 6'5", 270, 260 pound DN that blows through people. They're going after speed. So this kid, Romello Height, he doesn't have the bulk, but he has the speed and he has a great bend. When you already have Bosa and Osa Digazua, and then you have a big Collins in the middle pushing the pocket, you need speed on the outside. And this kid's going to be able to take advantage of his speed and get around these big tackles that are out in the NFL. And we haven't had that. That's why we're not used to this type of defenders. We're used to the big guys. So a lot of the Niner fans are not happy with these picks because they're like, man, they're light on the ass. They're going to get, but this kid at Romello is not, although he can stop the run, and I see him do it. He's underrated when it comes to that, but he's not called for that. He's not needed for that. That's why you have Mikael Williams on the outside that can set the edge. You want this kid on third and long, pin your ears back, and the NASCAR package, go after the quarterback. Like his hair's on fire. And that's what we need. We need speed to get to the quarterback. And I like it. I've seen the Rams do that in the last few years. They go with lighter edges. They can't stop the run for nothing, but they can get to the quarterback. And I think we need that. I think we got our run stoppers last year. Now this year we're going after a fast pass rusher.
Yeah, I agree, because that was something I kind of said going into the offseason, that I was like, I love that we got Mikael Williams. We obviously have Bosa and then the interior. But some people were like, no, what are you saying? But yeah, I thought we need another speed rusher. And even though Romello Height's, undersized, you can put on some weight really if you wanted him to. And I think this is what the Niners have been waiting for. Obviously, they've tried it ever since D4, with Drake Jackson. They're trying it again. But I think this is probably a pool party pick, if I had to guess, for Raheem Morris. Yeah, man. I mean, the thing what I liked about this guy is, right, the the guy that went to the Jets, right, in the first round, Bailey, right? This guy still had 10 sacks on the opposite side of this guy. And yes, I know he's an older player, but again, what I just said a few minutes ago, I think that the Niners are trying to go with guys that they feel are, more ready. You don't have to develop as much time. I absolutely loved this pick, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Kocurek is going to have a field day with him, employed. The speed, and I'm excited to see, because I'm not used to seeing speed like that on the edge. I'm always used to seeing the big guy. We're accustomed to that wide 9, right?
It's
type
been
of play.
Few years too.
That's definitely gonna be different this year going into the season.
And whenever you experiment, people are always nervous, right? Oh my God, what's going to happen? It doesn't work. But what happens if this kid comes in and next thing you know, we're like top 3 in sacks, or we're top 2, and this guy's blowing past linemen. Now, we just got to figure it out. We already tried the big guys. Now and I love what 49er Media said. He referenced a D Ford, and that's ever since D Ford. That's always been the plan. It's a fast pass rusher like D Ford and a big guy like both on opposite sides. And I think this is where they continue to go. And hopefully this will stick. We had our troubles. We had, Drake Jackson didn't work out. Hopefully this kid works out. And we'll see how it plays out. But they want that big, full-size run stopper of Bosa and going after the quarterback. And they want that pure pass rusher that they can pin his ears back on 3rd and long and just get after the quarterback.
Yeah, I just, last thing I'd like to say is just like the depth, man. I just absolutely love how this defensive line is just now looking. You kind of finally have that depth. You got your run stoppers last year. You got some passers now. I'm super excited to watch this defensive line.
And we're going to talk about a D tackle later, and you're bringing up that I am stoked about.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And, that's the thing. Like, we were dead last basically in rushing the quarterback.
Yeah.
And basically trying to stop the run as well. And we stacked up here on the line. So that's
they fixed that problem, stopping the run with the big guy. Because in 2024 we had a problem stopping the run. 2025 we resolved that, but then because some players got hurt, like Bosa, we struggled pass rushing. Right. So now the Niners are filling that spot. And hopefully this defense looks way better today than 2 years ago.
I agree.
I mean,
completely.
Even when you had Michael Williams, I think Niners had like a top 5, maybe top 3 run defense. And then once Michael Williams, that's when it really
very
dropped.
Good point. So, and people forget that. I like that. I want to continue on that point because 49er Media made a very good point. People are like, oh, Michael Williams, why did it take him? He has no sacks, but they don't watch tape. We had a top flight stopping the run defense, and once he got hurt, we started getting gashed. So that's a good point. Sometimes you don't get that recognition when it comes to sacks, but you got to watch the complete game and film to see what they're doing away from the quarterback. And this kid was stopping and taking on two offensive linemen. So he was doing an impact in that way.
He's already getting double teamed. And I think a lot of people are feeling that because they're like, oh, it's a top 10 guy, fringe top 10 pick. And then you're telling me you spent time on a run stopping. But that's what the Niners told us that they were going to do. And then you continue to develop the pass rush. And you already kind of saw that, coming to fruition right before you got hurt. So I think we'll be fine.
And now they don't have to develop it that fast anymore because we have some pass rushers. So now they can take their time and wait for Michael Williams to get better at that pass rush. So that works out for that as well.
Yeah, definitely for sure. All right, so now moving on into the draft, we go ahead 20 picks later, we go ahead and sure enough, fucking Kyle's goddamn favorite drafts a goddamn running back. Kalon Black from Indiana.
Who was not invited.
Exactly.
Yeah, he did not go to the
combine. How did you guys feel
combine.
when you heard this pick, and what was your guys' thought process of going through this
Go
Media.
ahead, Coordinator Media. I want you to go first.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I kind of knew it because right when I saw that we traded for that third round pick on day one, I was like, they're gonna go running back, aren't they? And then of course they freaking do it. And I think the issue with what we've had with them getting these third round running backs, they always feel like they're going with guys that should be going way later in this draft. They're not going with what we feel like is kind of maybe the best guy. But this guy, I mean, he was with the Indiana Hoosiers, so he does have that championship pedigree, which is something Kyle Shanahan likes. I know Deon loves to say this too, but my biggest concern is will he actually be used?
Exactly.
That's my biggest thing. And my biggest thing is why I want these rookies to actually play is because I feel like when you have a running back, right, and you're especially trying to convert from college to the NFL, you have to get that playing time to get used to cutting through the holes, getting used to your offense, your new offensive line. And I think that's the biggest thing that it's the trust that Kyle Shanahan doesn't have. I know he's a solid blocker. I'm interested to see how that looks, in camp and just, in the preseason. But honestly, was I mad? Yes, I was still mad, even though I wasn't super shocked. Because again, once we kind of traded for that third round pick back, I was like, Kyle Shanahan's probably going to go with that third round running back. But yeah, my biggest thing is I hope the Niners somehow use it. And I know Kyle Shanahan said that, during this offseason that they need to, basically lessen Christian McCaffrey's, mileage. We will see if that happens. But honestly, the Niners, like the good part of side of thing, I'd say is we all know what happens to Niners running backs, and you need the depth. And Isaac Guerrero hasn't showed you anything. I'm not going to say anything really about Jordan James because to me that's TBA still.
And just real quick too, and also Kyle mentioned today on the Rich Eisen show that basically Black was high, like top 2 on the drawing board, supposedly. Yeah, I think
and I think Black was better than Hemby, who went undrafted to the Raiders.
Where's Hemby out of? Is that the other?
Yeah, that was the other guy. He went to the Raiders as an undrafted free agent. Listen, do I like a running back in the third round based on the history? No. But like when Deon says, is Kyle going to play this running back? And Deon has a good point. Kyle doesn't play these running backs, but why is it? Why is it these running backs don't play? And then they're no longer on the team. It's because they can't block. Whatever reason Kyle brings them in and wants them to block, like 49 minutes said earlier, if we don't block, you don't get the rock. And that's true for receivers and running backs. And these guys like Gorindo, all these other guys who didn't work out, they couldn't block. So they're not going to get opportunity to back up Christian McCaffrey. What does McCaffrey do very well besides catch the ball and everything else? Block, right? Well, for what I heard from Black is very good blocker. So if he can do that, now we're going to truly see if he gets on the field and relieves Christian McCaffrey for about 100 plays, that means the blocking was an issue for the previous backs. If this guy blocks well and doesn't get on the field, then Deon was right correctly. Kyle just doesn't put him on the field. But he hasn't had a running back other than Christian McCaffrey they can block. And for those that think that this kid can catch, you're not going to ask him to catch in Indiana when you had Omar Cooper there, and you had the other kid, Surratt, that were catching the ball very well there. But this kid can catch, and I guarantee you he'll get his opportunities to do that here in San Francisco.
Yeah, here's my thing is I'm hearing that Jordan James is actually going to be the backup to McCaffrey, so I don't even think Black will even see the field at all, to be honest.
No, Black will be number 2 quarterback, bro. James will be number 3 when the season starts. You heard it from me first.
Okay, I mean, let's see. I wanted to ask you guys this question when we got to dribbling, so maybe we could just do it now. Who do you think should be the kick returner? Like, who would you put as the two guys? Because obviously you're not putting.
It's going to be between Cowing, Jacob Cowing, and Trent Taylor, or Trent, or whatever his name is.
You don't think they try to put like Jordan
James,
Jordan Watkins?
Yeah, Jordan Watkins, or like even gives dribbling some.
I forgot about Jordan Watkins, to be honest with you.
I know, I did too, and then because I was thinking about it.
They might try him there. I think Watkins is going to be you know what? I think he got hurt, and he kind of that messed with him a little bit. Hopefully, this will be the year that he shows that he can do something. Mm-hmm. If not, it's going to suck. But another Danny Gray down the toilet, or another Dante Peters down the toilet, we've seen enough of that. So I don't know. That'll be interesting because we lost our supposedly good punt returner that we brought in free agency. So I wonder who they're going to put there. I think it'll be between those three guys.
Yeah, I could see that happening too, to be honest. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see for sure. But do I swear if Black doesn't play at all this season, I'm gonna be pissed.
No, he'll play.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
He'll be number 2 in the chart. Remember
My thing is, it's not also just about the playing, which obviously it is, but it's how many snaps will he actually get? Is it gonna be like the good old Brian Robinson, where it's like 6-7 snaps a game?
No, right?
It's going to be all up to him.
Yeah.
The more he produces, the more he blocks, the more. Because come on, people say that Kyle wants to kill Christian McCaffrey. He doesn't want to kill. Kyle wants to win a Super Bowl. Believe it or not, he wants to win a Super Bowl more than we do as fans. He's the head coach. He has his reputation on it. He wants, but when Christian McCaffrey gives you the best chance on the field to call plays because how good he is, of course he's going to keep him out there and use him and abuse him. Hopefully this kid Black can come in and give him some of that opportunity to call some plays with him, and maybe we do take some plays off of Christian McCaffrey. But Christian McCaffrey wants to be on the field. Let's never forget that. He wants to be on the field. Sometimes Kyle has to fight him to keep him off the field.
I mean, you got to protect your players, even if they're the ones being, no, you can't take me out. You exactly. Just, as the coach, you got to.
Definitely agree for sure. But, see, Brad
we can definitely say that with Christian McCaffrey, a game plan is completely different than when we don't have him in
agree.
there.
Agree.
Yeah. All right, so Brad says, you think these backs are good enough to take 10 to 15 carries a game away from CMC?
I'm shooting for 100 throughout the season. So,
I mean, could they? Hopefully, will Kyle? That's the. I don't know.
Kyle will say no.
Well, if he can block and doesn't get Brock Purdy killed, you'll see him out there more often.
Yeah,
Garindo is getting offered Brock Purdy killed back there. Whoever was back there, that's why we started seeing less and less of Garindo. Kyle doesn't care what you can do. If you can catch the ball well, if you can run between the tackles very good, he likes that. But if you expose your quarterback because you can't block well, he don't give a crap about what you can do running the ball. Right. He needs you to block first and run second, and that's what we lacked in. So hopefully Black can change that narrative. If not, then he'll fall into the list of no good running backs in the third round.
Yeah. Also, my thing is, like, sometimes, because I remember, I think during camp, maybe his second year, there was reports that, TDP looks great. And then when we go into preseason, he looks awful. So it's like, I want to see what Black actually looks like, in a preseason game. Like, is he actually showing some?
I want to see him in a regular season game. I don't trust preseason games, bro.
I mean, my thing is just based on the running back history, though, and them not really showing anything. I'm not saying that it's 100% going to be, he'll get snaps because he shows something in preseason, but to me, I think that could be a little bit of a better factor to maybe tell us
You
that.
you remember a long time ago and this is team versus player, but when the Lions won all 4 of their preseason games and they were dominating their preseason games. They're like,
And then,
oh my
they
God,
go
the
0
Lions.
17, 0
Exactly. Exactly, bro.
I remember that. All right, let's go on to our next pick. So going on to
This is my
round
pick right
4,
here.
pick 107. The one thing we've been waiting for literally all weekend, and it finally happened. The Niners finally select a good defensive tackle from Oklahoma, Grayson Halton.
Well,
Guys,
a good prospect. I don't know if he's going to be good, but a good prospect at least.
Yes, exactly. Good prospect. And the only reason why I said finally a good whatever because I thought I was on the offensive line already, but I got ahead of myself. So,
Oh, no. Yeah, this guy's still on the deep.
so we're going back to the defensive side of the ball. We got a defensive tackle, Grayson Halton. Thoughts when we got this pick? Beto, you go first this time.
This kid is going to learn from Osa Digizua. They're very much alike in their
They
style
were
of play.
comparing him even during the draft. I
Yep,
remember.
yep. They're so much alike, and so I love it. I love it. He'll be his backup, and he'll learn from him. And the whole point of having supporting backups is that you don't want to miss a beat when you take a player out. You want to continue to keep that momentum going. So if Osa needs to step out to catch a breather, you want Grayson to come in and not miss a beat and still put that pressure. And I think they found that in this guy. Can he do it in the NFL level? We're going to have to wait and see. We all know that NFL is a different beast than college. Can he produce? I think he can. I think he'll be taught by Chris Kosarek. He'll be taught by also Digazua by watching him train and develop there. But we have to wait and see what this kid brings. But I'm excited because this kid runs with his hair on fire. He gets skinny in between the tackles, and he can get through the quarterback. So, and remember, I love sacks, but I am more of a pressure guy. I love pressure because sometimes sacks can be misleading. Like Nick Bosa can put pressure from his side, and the quarterback runs to the opposite and runs into a defender, and that defender gets a sack. Was it a real sack? No, but pressures are real. Pressures are real because you're bringing havoc against the quarterback. You're disrupting what the quarterback wants to do. You're messing up his timing. And so that's what I love about pressures. And if you can finish it with a sack, that's even better. But this kid can definitely bring pressure. So I'm excited to see how he plans out on this defense.
Yeah, no, me too. Looks like we lost media due to connectivity. I'm sure he'll be back right now.
Hopefully this kid is not as bad as his connection.
Right, exactly. No, I'm excited for this pick too, though. It's gonna help on the line as well and create that pressure, like you were saying about though. With Osa there too, he's gonna help out Holton a lot, and it's just gonna, dude. I think this line has upgraded like a lot compared to last year for sure.
Oh, big time, bro, big time.
And then with Mike Cal coming back too, off injury, and then having Collins there too.
A second year for Collins, a second year for CJ West.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
And then bringing that veteran also because people, Niner fans, whether they're aware or not, if you are, great. If you're not, you're going to find out that trade to Dallas was a beautiful trade. I love the fact that we brought Osa, and he wasn't traded because he's not a good player. He was traded because they have so much depth at that position in Dallas that they didn't need him. Sometimes a real good player can fall the third down the chart because some of them are just better. But this kid is special, and I think with us, he's going to be that bona fide starter in the middle that we need, because we need to collapse the pocket from the middle. We always collapse from the outside, but we can't do nothing from the middle. The last time I saw pressure from the middle, to be honest with you, since Buckner or the other guy, I forgot his name already, 91, it was when we used to have what's his name? The Cowboy. what was his name? Oh my God, I can't think of names. The one that came from Cincinnati. We traded for him from Cincinnati. We call him the Cowboy. And he played alongside of it was Smith. His last name was Smith. I can't think of his first name. Justin Smith. Yes.
Yeah.
That guy can push the pocket. This is what we're going to see in this kid, and we're going to see in also Igazua someone like Smith.
Yep, I could see that for sure. So that'll be interesting to see as well. Yeah, I mean, hopefully media comes back. If not, we'll just move on for now. Let's go ahead and move on to our next pick that the Niners selected. This is what I was talking about. Finally, there he is.
So,
all right,
my Wi-Fi was being
all good. Let me get your take, bro, on Grayson Holton.
Yeah, I really liked the pick, honestly. I mean, I think the Niners definitely could have used another defensive tackle and more of a pass rushing guy. And like I said just a few minutes ago, I just love this rotation now with the D line. I mean, we'll see how much playing time he really gets, but I think that rotation, man, just with Osa, learning from Osa, obviously, too. I'm excited about the pick.
Right.
I saw some really good film of him. Yeah, probably one of my favorite picks, just like Beto.
Yeah, because what you missed is Beto kind of compared him to like how Justin Smith was back in the day.
Okay.
Remember, he used to open the lanes for Aldon Smith to go clear after the quarterback. I think this is what these kids are going to do for not only Bosa, but especially for Romello Height.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
All right, so moving on. So going back to this, our next pick at pick 127, we finally we draft the offensive line.
Actor's brother.
He's a tackle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Carver Willis from Washington.
No, he's going to be more of a guard, though.
No, he's a tackle coming out of college, but we're gonna move him to guard. Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah.
What were your guys' thoughts on this, and why did we wait till round 4 to pick an offensive tackle? You think? Media, you want to go first?
Sure. It's just the Niners, man. I don't know why they continue to feel like they don't really care about the offensive line. I mean, they've been getting bodies this offseason. We'll see if they actually work out because, they did get Viridian Lowe, Brett Toth, what's his name, Jones from Miami. So, I mean, they did get some bodies. We'll see, though. But, yeah, like I said, I think this guy's going to be more in the interior guy. Maybe eventually could even be the center to replace Jacob Brendel, but I think he's going to have a chance at that guard spot. I really think that guard spot's going to be between Connor Colby and then obviously him and then also Jones. So we'll see. I mean, obviously there's no guard film, but what I can tell from the tackle film is he fights. I mean, his footwork looks pretty good. Good hands. So, I mean, he'll be near Trent Williams if he gets the job for some time, and then hopefully can just improve there. So, hey, maybe the Niners find another gem like Dominic Pooney, but honestly, I'm not surprised that they waited this long.
Yeah. Offensive line has never been a priority since Kyle and John been here. I know they always mention it's the trenches, but when they say the trench, and normally it is offensive line and defensive line, but with Kyle and John, it's always been the defensive line, getting after the quarterback more than protecting your quarterback. Now, let's keep it real. The Niners last year, without offensive line, were the top 15 offensive line. They were top 15, top 12 offensive line with that offense. And who's the highest paid offensive guy? Only Trent Williams. So that tells you don't need multiple offensive linemen with big pay to protect Brock. So they choose to scheme
Yeah.
that offensive line. Now, the only reason why they do pay and give in to Trent, because he's arguably the best left tackle in the NFL that has ever played football. So you make an exception for him. But Kyle figures, you know what? I don't have to put money into the offensive line. I can scheme protection to my quarterback. I have a quarterback that is mobile enough to help out the linemen. If my receivers can get open quick, if they can run those routes and separate, then the linemen are going to have less pressure on them by these defensive ends. So all that comes into play, and you don't have to pay that much money to your linemen to get production out of them. So they are able to put their money into the quarterback, into their tackle or linebacker or defensive end, and that's where they focus on. If Brock Purdy starts getting killed, and he's been sacked, yes, but let's keep it real. There are quarterbacks out there they just get killed throughout the season.
Yeah, look at Joe Burrow.
Yeah, you don't hear that from Brock Purdy, offensive line. Yeah, he'll get sacked. Every offensive lineman gives up a sack. But for the most part, this offensive line protects Purdy. So why invest money there when you can put it elsewhere, when you can scheme the protection? And I think that's why the Niners do that. I understand that Niner fans don't like that. I understand Niner fan wants the big bodies. But to me, as long as Brock Purdy is being protected enough, I'm good with that.
Right. I agree completely. As long we need the protection on the offensive line for Purdy to have enough time to be able to find routes open, players open, and not have to scramble all the time and run for his life and look for receivers down the field while he's running for his life. So I think this is a good pick. Hopefully this works out and he's a good player, kind of like how Pooney was his rookie season, and hopefully continues to be good.
Real quick before we move on, I know we got to go down the rest of the picks, and I want to go ahead on myself, but be prepared to see Rique Jr. or whatever his name is that we drafted last to fight for that right tackle position. I mean that left tackle, left guard position. Excuse me. I agree with Kenny a lot. I really believe that Carver Willis will be fighting for that center position. They're gonna try to put him beneath and then get rid of Brindle and put Willis there. I agree with Kenny. That's been my impression of why they brought him in, and I think Enrique, or the kid that we took last, is going to be fighting the free agents more for that left guard position.
Yeah, just real quick before we move on to the next pick, like with Carver Willis, I think my biggest concern with this offensive line is the run blocking, because that's where it was horrific. That was my biggest concern. So whoever they end up having at left guard, I really just hope that it, at least improves their run blocking and opens up more holes.
Same, I agree too. Because our run block was horrendous last year, and that's why McCaffrey couldn't find any holes.
Yeah.
So,
expect that to change with our receiver.
Right.
Yes.
All right, moving on to pick 139 in round 4. This was one of my favorite picks because we needed somebody that is pretty dominant like this guy, and mind you, we're always drafting guys that are under 6 foot as corners. So this guy coming in, emphasis, Price Hawk, 6'2".
Ephesians Price Hawk?
Ephesians. Sorry.
Ephesians. Just to let you know, he's not going to be a corner. He'll be our new safety. Just remember that.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
We'll see. But anyway, so 6'4", and he's 195 pounds. Dude, finally we have a freaking tall DB. I'm looking forward to it. What are your guys' thoughts?
And his arms are like freaking long.
Yeah. What was your guys' thoughts after we got this pick? Go ahead, media.
I absolutely love this pick. By the way, I actually did get to watch him before because he was at Arizona. He lost our coach to Washington. He transferred over to Washington. Probably my favorite corner out of this class. I liked him more than what's his name? The guy that went to the Bengals, but Takario Davis. So yeah, I like that this guy has lengthy arms. Cornerback, I know that the Niners obviously added some depth during the offseason, but some solid veterans, but I really like this guy. With his length, I think he's going to be a really good corner. He doesn't have the versatility to play inside, and so I think that's why you still have, that ASU corner that we ended up signing. I can't think of his name.
Upton Stout.
No.
From the inside?
We signed him this offseason as like a depth guy.
Free agency. I didn't hear that part.
I know we signed two guys.
The one that played for the Raiders. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the guy that also played for the Packers. Yeah, Hobbs and
Hobbs. Yeah.
Anyways, Hobbs and the other guy. Like I think they're more obviously of your guy that could be your backup for the slot guy. But Ephesian price slot guy, I think I really like this. In terms of his like physicality, his toughness, his athleticism, I love it. Now there's some things he needs to work on, but I think with that athleticism that should be able to hopefully improve.
Right.
Yeah, the kid's 6'4".
Yeah,
I mean the guy is humongous, long arms. They brought him as a corner. I believe he'll play there, but I really have a hunch that the Niners are going to at least try him out at safety to see what he can do based on what he does in training camp. Will determine if they decide to leave him there. A lot of people forget Ronnie Lott was drafted as a corner, not as a safety, and he was converted to a safety. I see this kid almost the same way. We'll wait and see because I'm not sold, or maybe that's just me projecting because I am not sold on Jair Brown and I want him out of there or have him not on the field as much as possible. So I'll put anybody, I'll put my grandmother in there over him if I could, and she was still alive. But I think this kid, I wouldn't be surprised if you see him play corner in preseason.
Okay, speaking of that safety talk a little bit, I'm interested to see if Raheem Morris tries. Probably going to be a competition, but there's also Marquis Siegel, which the Niners still could give a chance to. I know he struggled at times, but again, he was a rookie. I think he has a lot better speed, than Jair Brown. And so if you're able to continue to develop him and, with Raheem Morris, have him and Mustafa, I think we'll be fine then. I think that's why the Niners don't really safety. Yeah.
And if you can have a universal player that can play both safety and corner, that's always going to be good because you don't have to have an extra corner. You can have one that they can play both. So if one goes down, they can play that. And those type of players are very good in the 53.
Yeah. I did see people were, when we signed like Nate Hobbs, that people were talking about maybe putting him at safety. So maybe there's a chance that the Niners do that.
What does Kenny mean by didn't know that both were streaming?
He didn't realize.
I think he didn't know that both you and Brandon were streaming.
Yeah.
We're together.
Channels. To our channel. See, I'm old. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's okay, man. It's all right.
It's all good.
Yeah, that's on me, Kenny. What's up, Papa J? I didn't realize. I have I'm using my Pocket 3, so I'm using my screen's very far from me. So to read the damn letters are like this small. So I'm trying to. I take out my glasses, forget it. Earlier, what did I say? Audible and what was it? Audience or
He was trying to connect his channel, and he thought it says stream, like audience.
Stream audio. It meant to say stream to your audience. So there you go.
Yeah. All right. moving on to our next pick, round 5, pick 154. We go ahead and we select linebacker Jaden Duggar. How we feel about this one?
Pass rush, pass rush, pass rush.
I didn't really like this one, honestly, as much, but I kind of see why the Niners liked him, and that's because he played safety. We know who else played safety, Mr. Fred Warner. So, but I mean, what I do like about this guy is when I was watching some of his film, like he's already got the ability to, which obviously the NFL is different, so we'll see if that can convert. But like in college, he was already like basically telling other linebackers and other players like where to go.
Yeah, he was wearing the green dot. He was the quarterback of the defense.
Yeah, and I thought he looked really good in that role. I do like his speed, really good tackler too. Probably going to have to put on some weight because he does look kind of tiny. But
do you know his stats from his stats and Fred Warner's stats coming out of college are very, very similar?
You know who else's measurables was very similar? Eric Kendrick.
Yeah,
Not Eric Kendrick. The linebacker coach that used to play for Seattle.
Oh, our linebacker coach now.
Yeah.
KJ Wright, right?
Yeah, KJ Wright. Thank you. Not Eric
Kendrick. Yeah, there you go. That's right. When you say Kendrick, I'm like, okay, I'll agree with you, but I don't think so. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because this kid is playing middle. In college, he finished playing middle linebacker. And let's be honest, when you have Fred Warner there, there's no way this kid's beating up Fred in there. So they're going to try to utilize him somewhere else. But God forbid Fred Warner gets hurt or down the line, maybe you have his replacement down the line. But I can see them using him as an outside linebacker going after the quarterback and rotation.
Blitz packages,
blitz packages, absolutely. Speed.
My only question, because obviously D Winters only had 1 year left on his deal, and obviously this guy's going to have his 4-year rookie contract, but I'm just like, this linebacker room already feels so deep that like I'm just like, who do you actually take out?
Yeah, I think
welcome back, Greenlaw, right?
Yeah,
right. I think that's why they traded away Winters too, is because of how deep it is.
Good riddance, by the way.
Yeah, and they knew they were probably going to go for a linebacker anyways in the draft.
Yeah,
they did it again, bro. They turned a 6th round pick into a 5th round.
Yeah. I'm not saying I hate the trade, but I'm just like, I thought maybe they were also just doing it to kind of lessen the linebacker spot because there are already so many bodies to where I'm like, I don't know who's going to make.
After this year, he would have been a free agent, and they were not going to sign him back. Let's be honest. So why not get a 5th round pick for him?
Yeah. No, I'm just more confused why they took another linebacker again.
And the Cowboys were the one that were bothering the Niners about him. They wanted him. So
I mean, they talked about it during the Osa trade, but nothing happened. So then
I'm still trying to figure out why nothing fucking ever happened during that.
What happened? What are you guys talking about?
Wait, because I'm like, why didn't the Cowboys trade for D Winters when the Niners traded for Osa?
I think at the time, was Greenlaw already back with us at that trade, or no? Because if Greenlaw wasn't with us yet, I can see why they didn't do it. If Greenlaw was with us, then that's a good question.
I think the Cowboys were trying to get this other linebacker because I remember there was a report a few days ago.
They were going after Jair. Not Jair. The ones with Houston. He played with us. Remember?
Oh, Aziz. Right. That's right.
Aziz. They wanted Aziz, but once he re-signed with the Texans, their second choice was D.
Yeah. Winners. Once they knew that, okay, he's just gonna stay in Houston.
Good point, media.
The deal that they were gonna have to turn.
All right. D winners. Moving on to the last pick of the draft, we went back to the offensive line, and we got a offensive line from Kansas, Enrique Cruz Jr., which Beto was just talking about earlier. So Beto, go ahead and continue what you were going to say about Cruz.
I love this kid. I love his tenacious, his the way he fights, the way he manhandles players in front of him. I think this kid's going to be special. I think the Niners definitely found a diamond in the rough in this kid. I think this kid is going to be special. We got to wait and see where he gets utilized at. But I love his fire. I love the way he follows through. He's a hard worker. I've heard his coaches talk highly of him. People around him talk highly of him. The kid loves to put in hard work. He's not afraid of hard work. I can see him, like I said, battling for that left guard position and winning it. The boy has size. He's what you consider a true tackle. They can stay tackle. But he's a right tackle. So he might put fire on McKivitz, if anything. But I can see them trying on the left because he's not going to compete with Trent. But I can see him putting maybe some fire underneath McKivitz and all McKivitz. For everybody that hated McKivitz last few years, oh, McKivitz sucked. I don't hear no Niner fans talking shit about McKivitz anymore.
I agree.
Why? Because this guy's been doing is he the best tackle? No, but he handles his own. So this is what Kyle does with these tackles, not named Trent Williams.
I don't know how much I see him being inside personally. I feel like he's going to be more of that tackle guy. But it's interesting because they did bring in Viridian Lowe, who's on, I believe it was a 2-year deal. So like
I like him too.
Maybe they just see this guy as the developmental like swing tackle.
It
and maybe take over Trent somehow, but eventually. But yeah, I think that's kind of where I see him fitting for now.
Or if he's really that good, maybe when McKivitz wants that contract, and because he's been doing better, maybe the Niners say, nope, we have somebody there already, and we'll move on from you and continue to put money elsewhere in the roster.
Yeah, because I believe McKivitz only has, 1 more year, I think, left?
Yeah. I'm still kind of honestly over McKivitz myself. I even said that during the draft. That right side needs some help so bad, man. It's ridiculous.
Wasn't the right side better last year, though?
Yes, it was.
I thought it was, it was the left side that was the.
Yeah.
It's so annoying because it's like we used to say the right side sucked so much and the left side was super good. You had Trent and, Banks, the one kind of good year, and then now it's like flip-flop.
This is why I don't understand the hate for McKivitz. The guy is performing out there. You're right, 49 Media. The right side was the better side, and they were running more effective on that side than the left. And again, Trent can only do so much. Trent needs somebody that can be next to him that he don't have to babysit. The thing is with Trent, Trent tried to do his job and kind of keep an eye on the left
he's
guard.
Trying to cover for that guy if he needs to.
If you can put somebody that can hold his own at that left guard, and then Trent will be able to do Trent stuff, and that left will become better again. But you're right, the right was better.
Yeah. I mean, Papa J says McKivitz ain't shit without Pooney next to him.
Well, you can say a lot of the left guards ain't shit either without Trent.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Banks was ass last year, so
now let's be honest. You can have somebody at the right tackle that still sucks next to Pooney.
Yeah.
At least the upside, this guy maybe he sucks on his own, but he doesn't suck next to Pooney, and that's a good thing for us.
right.
Yeah. I mean, the also thing with Banks is like you saw as soon as Trent was starting to really get hurt, like Banks would not look good. So like you knew pretty much he was doing well because he had Trent next.
Yep, big Trent.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the draft.
Any undrafted guys you found interesting?
I like that kid from Indiana.
Yeah.
That kid, he's small, 6 foot, 260 pounds, which is that's like crazy. But that kid, his spin move, I seen him do a spin move that had alignment on skates so bad that he fell backwards in one of the games, and I think he went undrafted because of his height. I think this kid can be special, but he's going to have to be. I think the Niners can probably stash him, stash him and develop him for future. But he's not going to be no impact soon if he's on the Niners. But I like him as a developmental player.
Yeah, I liked that too. I mean, they're also saying that Khalil Dinkins, the tight end from Penn State, right now is pretty good at blocking. So maybe he could become a blocking tight end and then we can freaking get rid of Luke Farrell.
Here's a random one. What do you guys think about the punter that we signed?
That's what I was just about to say. Is because I was talking with my friends and I was like, dude, I think that the Niners will probably bring in an undrafted punter. Just because, even though they signed that one guy from the Steelers, it's a 1-year deal. So I think I wouldn't be mad if there's a competition.
Competition is always, if they learn anything from Jake Moody, bring in competition and let them fight out and let the best one. Because sometimes, I don't know about you guys, sometimes when there's no competition behind you, you kind of feel like, if I do good, fine. If I don't, who are they going to replace me with? But when they have someone behind you, they can take away your job. It just makes you fight more. So I like that they brought him in, and he's an undrafted. So if he works out, great. If he doesn't, oh well.
Yep.
Yeah. And the other guys, I'll just name off the list real quick. So punter Jack Boomeister from Texas, tight end Khalil Dinkins from Penn State, defensive line Bryson Eason, Tennessee, receiver Wesley Grimes, North Carolina, defensive line Mikhail Kamara, Indiana.
That's the kid I was talking about.
Yeah. Receiver Will Pauling, Notre Dame. Safety Jalen Stroman, Notre Dame, and then defensive line James Thompson, Illinois.
Yep.
We'll see how they do going into camp because also
they need bodies, bro. They just need bodies.
They do.
Yeah, they needed to get to 90
for sure.
So.
Basically, rookie mini camp starts next month on the 8th and 9th. Yep. So rookies will start reporting to camp, and then we'll go from there. But what would you guys give your overall grade for the draft, personally?
That's a tough one.
Ask me in 2 to 3 years from today.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm being honest. I get what you're saying based on who they took, but if you say it's an A, or if you say it's an F, and 4 of these players plan out to be freaking really good, or you say it's an A and they all miss out, it's really I get it that people give grades based on who they pick, but man, we don't know how they're going to do.
Yeah,
they're going to do good or not.
Anyways,
so is it a fair grade? And since it is, I give them an A plus because it doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between an A plus and an F minus? It doesn't matter because we don't know what we got. Right. So for the sake of the show, and just because I'm a Niner homer, like people like to call me, I'll say A plus. They hit it out of the ballpark, especially with the running back a 3rd round.
Oh God, yeah, I'm gonna wait kind of and see. Also, there was a thing from Mike Garofalo today that both the rookies, wide receiver Deon Stribling and running back Kalen Black are going to have been invited to attend the NFL's rookie premiere in LA.
I did see that too. Yeah.
So Black finally gets invited to something, huh?
Yeah.
I bet you he's happy.
Yep. All right.
What numbers do you think they're going to wear?
Oh, shit.
I'm not talking about the undrafted. I'm talking about the drafted.
The drafted player jerseys?
I don't know.
What number would you... Okay, let's not... Because it's already late. Let's not go through the whole draft. Just the receiver. What number do you think will fit him? You think he'll take over 15?
Maybe.
11.
Oh, yeah. 11.
Oh yeah, I know, huh? 11. Take over 11. Because we know
Dude,
5
did you
is
guys
taken.
see that report about Ayuk?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Him and Garindo both look big, bro.
Yeah, you look like he's been grubbing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That kid, just keep that kid in prayer, man. That kid, I mean, how do you give up all that money, bro?
I don't
Like,
understand,
I've
man.
never seen anything like that happen. Like it's insane.
Like, I don't know.
And then
what
they're saying
happened,
now,
bro.
like, also the problem is teams can't even get a hold of it.
at least Antonio Brown, before he screwed it up, he made a lot of money. This
Yeah.
kid,
Well, and he made plays
Well-
before he got CTE. So.
Well, also too is he it was also towards the end of his career too. So,
yeah.
yeah,
but yeah, no, dude. And Niners are keeping him
I
basically.
don't blame them, dude. They have till June 1st.
June
Anyway.
1st.
you know, I hear a lot of as we end, bro. I hear a lot of Niner creators pissed off the Niners because they are holding him hostage. At this point, bro, he didn't do the Niners no damn favors. I don't see why the Niners owe him any. They don't owe him shit. If they can,
exactly.
the guarantees,
I'm all for
there's
it.
no guarantees. Keep him until June 1st. Keep him as long as you can. As long as you can. If Yuko was smart, he will show up to minicamp because by doing so, now he forces the Niners to release him because they're going to have to pay him some money. But he's such an idiot that he probably wouldn't even show up. The Niners will either show up or shut up. But the Niners don't owe him nothing. And these Niner creators are like, the Niners are being so petty. No, they're not. They gave him,
he literally
George
didn't do
gave him
shit
millions
to
of
them,
dollars.
for them.
How much was his guarantees?
It was like 20
Because remember, the guarantees, you don't lose the guarantees. You keep that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being an owner like Jed York? You give this player, I don't know, let's say $50 million in guarantees as an example. I don't know what it was. And then he bails on you.
Yeah.
You feel like, dude, this guy took my money and left, right? So why would you want to help him out? Screw him.
Right.
So,
The only way you do it early is if somehow someone budges and gives you like even a 7th round pick. But otherwise, then you just keep him hostage till June 1st. And then
as long as you can.
Yeah. All right, Beto, it's time to end it. For those of you that tuned in, Papa J, Kenny, the rest of you guys, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. As always, please hit that like, subscribe button on both channels. And go ahead, even though Media wasn't live tonight with us, go ahead to his channel and hit that like and subscribe button as well on his last video, of course. And yeah, until next time, guys, we'll be back come, I guess, training camp, right? Or whenever we can. Basically, we'll let you guys know for sure on X. And yeah, but until next time, go Niners, and we'll see you soon.
Drama free off season.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Later, guys.